So today I want to welcome everyone for being here on our last Zoom session for this year, or for the 2021 year. And I want to especially welcome Richard and Adrian Baxa, who are honoring us with their presence. Thank you very, very much. It's a wonderful pleasure to have you with us. And I think we will have an opportunity to chat with you and to hear some words of wisdom from you as we continue throughout our program. So today what we're going to do is just have sort of a discussion and assessment of our experience with Zoom meeting at a national level and learning from each other and supporting each other. As we have repeatedly spoken of in the last few sessions, we have been looking into the teachings of Master Tang Hoi and Thomas Merton and Ling Chi to kind of get a sense of what these masters can teach us about meditation and contemplation, the difference of those, and different methods of practice that we have explored together. Again, as always, I thank John and Fernando for your wonderful scholastic presentations on Thomas Merton and Tang Hoi. And of course, the Virginia Sangha, who gave us a wonderful panel in the last session, Dave, Ruth, and Peter on Ling Chi and the teachings of Ling Chi. So thank you all very much for your wonderful contributions and the time that you dedicated and all the love that you put in every word you shared with us. I think I felt extremely enriched. I was very happy to hear from everyone, and you promoted conversations and discussions and exchange of opinions and feelings and created a very intimate environment conducive to supporting each other in these times of chaos in our country or in the world. So, you know, our world has been shattered in so many ways. It has been, I don't know if it has been transformed, because for me, transformation has a very deep meaning where it comes from within. So I'm sure there have been transformations, but the way in the world operates has been changed. And this is very a time where I think a metaphor spoken by the Buddha is very appropriate to share. And that is the metaphor of the four horses. You know, the Buddha taught that there are four types or four kinds of horses. There is a horse that is excellent, is the best of the best. And that horse is so obedient and so well trained and so perceptive that the shadow, only the shadow of the whip or the slightest sound of the whip will make this horse move and do what his master wants him to do. Then there is the good horse. This good horse is probably as good as the excellent horse, except that this horse has to have some sense of the whip coming at him. has to touch him for him to move, or her or it to move into action and do what the masters want. Then there is the poor horse. This horse needs to be hit with the whip. This horse will not move until he feels the touch of the whip on his skin. Then he will act. And then there is the very bad horse. This poor horse is so, I don't know if ill-trained, but his ability to understand and to connect with his master's needs and to connect with everything around him is kind of dense. And so this horse needs to be whipped badly so that the pain of the whip reaches his marrow before he acts, before it moves. And it seems like our world has had that experience. We are like, the world has been, and we have been like the very bad horse. We were hit badly, and it touched our core, our spirit. Our entire being was shaken by the pandemic, by all the death and the pain, by the isolation, by the loneliness, and really by the inability to understand what was going on and to gain some control over it. So we got hit very, very hard. And in that sense, we are like the very bad horse. But what's great about this analogy is that Suzuki Roshi says that, when we are in meditation, when we are learning to transcend pain and suffering, or trying to alleviate pain and suffering, we want to be like the excellent horse, where, we know what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and boom. Or the good horse, who, with a little bit of doubt, a little bit of pain, we will take the cushion and get to our sort of spiritual source. Other people want to be or are like the poor horse. We need a little bit more pain. Somebody has to die next to us, or our, family, friends, before we react and realize that, life is impermanent, that we need to sit down and come to discover our true nature through our meditation. But then Suzuki Roshi says, the best horse of all is the very poor, the very bad horse. And why? Because the very bad horse, in spite of the pain, will continue to try. It will not become arrogant by saying, I know what to do all the time, so I don't need teachers, I don't need support, I don't need anything. And it will not be like the other two horses that will also have reactions of, maybe some arrogance, some pride, some, I don't need anyone, or I just need one friend, I don't need my Sangha. But the bad horse, the very bad horse, will listen when the whip hits him. It will pay attention, and it will perform, and it will do its best, even if, he forgets what that is, and then the next time he gets hit again. I think Zoom this year gave us such a wonderful tool to be that very bad horse. You know, or suddenly we were isolated, we were supposed to be in a retreat, we were supposed to be together, we were supposed to, but nothing happened because of the world conditions. But we had Zoom. So like the very bad horse, the pain hit us, and we said, we need to get together somehow. We need to meet. We need to not lose sight of each other. We need not forget that, you know, what the Buddha says, the Thich Nhat Hanh quotes, that, you know, if you do not meditate with a Sangha, then what's the point? You need your community. We need our community. And I'm very, very grateful for all of you for willing to come together as a community and to create this containment, this wonderful container where we can all feel safe and secure, able to speak up and supportive of each other, and somehow transmitting our loving kindness to one another through, you know, the screen, through the microphone. So we need to continue to go on our journey to find our true nature. And we will do that by supporting each other, by coming together as Dharma brothers and sisters, by spreading our loving kindness and compassion to everyone around us, even without saying a word, even without you know, making a signal, just by standing someplace. You will bring loving kindness and compassion wherever you are, regardless of conditions around you. That's a powerful dynamo that we carry with us. And we need to share it. And to do that, we need to nourish each other by continue our conversations, our teachings, our, you know, being with each other. So today, I invite you to continue to help me find my true nature. And I am opening the floor to hear your impressions, your assessments of your experience this year with Zoom, with National, what I'm calling now our Mahasangha, because it's like, you know, we're national, and we will continue this container, will continue to be available. And all those who want to continue to join, you are most welcome to do that. And so I thank you very, very, very much. And I encourage you to continue to be the very bad horse. Keep on trying, keep on learning, keep on, you know, make mistakes, keep on doubting, keep on doing this, but then returning to the source, always returning to the source of the Dharma. So thank you very much for this year. Thank you so much for all of what you've done and your support and your teachings. And here we are. I'm opening the floor, and I don't know if Richard or Adrian want to tell us a few words before everybody else speaks, or Fernando? So I'm leaving it up to you. Thank you.
That was an excellent talk. I mean, that really was beautiful. Thank you very much. And I think it's something we can all remember what kind of a horse we are as we go through the day and as we continue our practice. As far as what we have been doing, fortunately, we have not been as active as I'd like within the DTO community. Much of our time has been spent on the prison program, although not as much as before, thanks to John and to Kathy of FAPLAN, who have really picked up the program and ran with it and made a number of improvements and continue to make improvements with it. It's really good to see that the program is in such good hands with such dedicated people who are working with it. A lot of our other time has gone into, we have a weekly Buddhist book discussion group that we use. And thanks to Zoom, we're able to reach members of our group who have moved to the United States or moved far away, in some cases to another country like Ireland. So Zoom's been a blessing in a sense. I guess out of every cloud, there's a silver lining, and the cloud of COVID has opened up new ways of communicating and sharing the Dharma with lots of other people whom otherwise you would not be able to reach. I don't really have much more to say, except thank you all for being wonderful and being there. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. It's wonderful to have you here. I hope you continue to join us.
It's Vapland bowing in. I think I've said this before, but I'm a big fan of Zoom, and I know some people, you know, and I'm not talking about people here, but I have been told by others, oh, I don't like Zoom. I want to be together and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I want to be together too. But I love Zoom, and part of the reason that Richard had discussed, because we reach out to people outside of our own little community, and it's enlarged our community. And as far as these Zoom sessions with the National Sangha, I am so glad we did this. So whoever great idea this was, thank you so much. And I honestly, I miss the retreats because I love them. I love to see everybody, and it's such a it's just such a joy. But this has allowed for, a whole year of a little more intimacy than I think a lot of us have ever had with one another, with it, and seeing each other once or twice a year. I mean, it's wonderful. I want to do that again. But being together regularly has been such a wonderful experience. And I think it's made our national group closer and more bonded, at least from my perspective. I love it. So I'm glad we're going to keep it up. Vapland bowing out.
If you want, you might use the reactions and just use the raise hand so that Craig can unmute you and you can speak up. Please, everyone, share. Thank you.
So maybe let's talk a little history of how we got started. This happened, we had a retreat on December of 2019 in Virginia. It was a great, nice get together. And we had a lot of plans of what to do for the year. And we didn't know 2020 was going to be such an eventful year. And we realized in the spring, when we were not going to have a retreat, that it was going to be a long time before we would be able to get together. And Elena volunteered, thankfully. Thanks, Elena. And Craig also was volunteered to help us getting this set up on a monthly basis. It started just to spend time with each other. Remember, those were times in which people felt very lonely, very you couldn't connect with anybody. At least in New York, it was like a ghost town. Nobody was out. Connecting through Zoom was a blessing. So we started just to connect, and then through so deliberations between Elena and Craig, we started in September of 2020, thinking of having a vision of enhancing our practice, and that's what we just have done this past year, trying to learn from different sources how to enhance our practice. But as it has developed, I think I agree. I think it's been an important tool to keep us together, and our plans, even if our retreats begin again, like we used to have, 2 retreats a year. We're planning a third retreat every year for just a silent retreat. We're going to start this September as the first one. We still plan to keep the Zoom meetings once a month, because I think there used to be many months in which we were not in touch with each other and not realize what was happening, and people needed some help, or people needed to connect, and we were not able to do it because we were just meeting every 4 or 5 months as a national sangha. So we plan to keep these meetings going every month, in spite of people. Like, we have a lot of requests from people outside our states that we have sanghas, for people who want to participate. Conrad is one of them. Without Zoom, he wouldn't be able to connect with us. So we're going to keep these monthly meetings as long as we have the strength and time and dedication. But I want to personally thank Elena and Craig for picking the ball and running with it.
Respected Thai, dear Sangha, not to judge, but I'm the most grateful of all to be a part of this Zoom, because I've known about the Dharma Teacher Order for years, but because of the conditions and the geographic distances, it wasn't allowed to manifest. And then all of a sudden, this happened, and Zoom is available, the conditions are right, and this family accepted me into your arms, and I'm so forever grateful. I've learned so much. My heart is just so open to you, and I really am so truly grateful. And I had a chance also to study with Fernando throughout the year, and thank you. And to communicate with Fablan, with the BCC, and practice together, it just brings a deeper connection to us. And it's just so beautiful how, I think where we are on our path, it's a gift from our ancestors. We didn't find this path. This path found us, and it's just like in the past it was a radio station or a TV station, and now it's IP address. But if we're not tuned to the proper frequency or the proper channel, or we don't have the proper IP address, we're not going to be able to connect. And so we're all on the same frequency. We all attuned to the same radio channel, or we all were given access to the same IP address so that we can all come together as a Sangha, as a unity, and the collective energy to really, just as it was mentioned, just to bring happiness and kindness, not only to our little community, but just as we do the Tonglen to the world. And I'm just so I can't tell you how eternally grateful I am to all of you for allowing me to be a part of this Sangha. Thank you. Conrad, bowing out.
Mark bowing in. I joined the Connecticut DTO in January of 2020, and I was absolutely new to Buddhism. I really didn't know anything about it. And then COVID came along, and I just feel so grateful that I was able to continue with the Connecticut DTO, the Texas DTO, and Fablan introduced us to the mentorship, the prison mentorship correspondence course. That's been a real blessing. And I just think that also being able to tune into the national Sangha has just been very, very helpful to me. And thank you, everyone. Margaret Bow.
So I will say that over the past year and a half, time and time again, I have seen the value of Zoom and the other platforms that, you know, do the same thing. Not just here, very much here, because as was pointed out a little while ago, you know, the retreats were great, and seeing everybody in person, which I adore that. But being able to connect frequently throughout the year also has its huge value, and none of us would be able to do this since we're all spread all over the place like we are. But also with other things, you know, just like from my work life and so forth, trainings and different kinds of meetings, all sorts of things that in the old times, the old days, you would have had to do a lot of traveling to get to something, or, you know, would have been very much more expensive to do. I mean, there are a lot of benefits that have come out of, you know, just the Zoom platform, you know, the whole COVID thing. I think, you know, Elena, as you touched on the 4 types of horses, and you mentioned transformation. You know, the whole COVID thing, among other things, because 2020 was kind of a dumpster fire. 2021's not doing a whole lot better in some ways, but the whip, as it were, forces us to sometimes make a pretty huge pivot from what we were comfortable with, and that can lead to a huge amount of growth. It may not, but it can. As you were telling the story about telling the teaching about the horses, I was thinking of somebody that I work with that one time said to me, and I'll use her words, she spoke from her lived experience. She said, trauma causes recovery, or can cause recovery. She was speaking in terms of traumatic experiences that, as she said, it puts you in a place of having to do what you weren't willing to do before, having to reach out for help, connect with others, do things like that. And of course, then we talked about the need for good resources and good teachings to be able to do that, recovery, or, you know, transformation, if you will. So it's not just, obviously it's not just the traumatic experience, but the good resources, the good teachings, teachers, and communities, and you know, Sangha, Dharma, Buddha, all that needs to be there too. that's part of what this group is bringing all those things together so that we don't just get swallowed up by the traumatic things that have been happening to us and around us. We have tools and community and teachings and the support of each other. So, thank you.
Craig bowing in. I think this past year has been great. I welcome the opportunity to work with Elena, and thank you, Elena, for making this possible and taking the lead on it. There's a quote that I came across or a couple of times that everybody's probably familiar with, but I think it is appropriate. I'll just read it. So Ananda, Lord Buddha's longtime personal attendant and monk disciple, asked Buddha, Lord, is it true that what has been said, that good spiritual friends are fully half of the holy life? The master replied, no, Ananda, good spiritual friends are the whole of the holy life. Find refuge in the Sangha community. And I think Zoom has allowed us to have this Mahasangha, as Elena puts it, and associating with virtuous people is great, and it brings out the best in me. So I appreciate it, and thank you all for making it possible. Craig bowing out. I'm sorry, I don't have the power to unmute, so you can just unmute
Oh, okay.
yourself.
John?
John Banyan. I think even COVID and last year bring much hardship to people. But those kind of
John, I'm sorry. Your sound is a little bit muffled. Can you
okay,
increase
let
it?
me try
Thank you.
again. Okay, is it better now? Okay, so I think last year and COVID kind of unfortunate and bring a lot of hardship to people, but it's also kind of a wake-up call for us to reassess, priorities in our lives. With that, it enables Zoom for us to be able to connect to people. We've seen, our national sanghas gathering together. We have a chance to get all the mentors to see each other every month and share our experience, help out, new mentors that might have question difficulties in mentoring students. Our weekly meditation session has been, enlarged and be able to get audience from other sanghas. So I think that is a great tool to enhance our experience. I read in one of the forum that people say that, okay, through this period, here's what we found. Our priority, the first should be our family. The second is our spiritual life, and then the job kind of go way down the list. I think we've been too much busy focusing, trying to do our job and neglecting family, neglecting all the loved one or our spiritual practice. So this is kind of a wake-up call, kind of a good way that people kind of wake up and realize and try to move back somewhat in kind of a middle way without, having too much to focus on jobs or money. People seeing that, oh, even people with money, COVID wouldn't care, when the karma comes, even money cannot resolve that. So it's kind of a good angle to have through this scenario. It's like with every hardship, we would learn something and be able to overcome. I think this is a great opportunity, even though Zoom helps, but I think being a social creature, face-to-face communication is still important. So I think when times and scenario allow, we would be glad to have our regular annual get everything together. And also another note is that now that our work involving too much Zoom-like, whether Zoom or any similar communication, and less face-to-face in the office. So be mindful, be aware, and once in a while take a break and do our short meditations, because I think Alex Kuros, one of our DTO member and a member in Texas Sangha, he told me that he has, and all the folks similar has been training on how to deal with Zoom fatigue. So that's gonna be getting to people. So be mindful, be aware, don't spend too much time on Zoom, because you know that we're gonna have, you have to do that. And then make sure that you have a balance. Yeah, and once in a while break away and practice meditation. John buying out.
Um, First Ruth and then Brandon. But before that, I would like to welcome our brothers from the Ding Chuang Temple. Hello, David. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. Today we are celebrating sort of the closure of our year of Sangha togetherness. And we are sharing our experiences with Zoom as we, have been together throughout the months of this year. So if you feel at any time you want to share, please just let us know, jump in. You're welcome. Thank you for coming. Ruth?
Yes, thank you, Ruth bowing in. First, Elena, that was, of course, a wonderful teaching, but your application of it to us was just amazing. Thank you for that. And I want to kind of talk from that point. As part of the Virginia Sangha, when we first started
Ruth, you're breaking up. Your sound.
Sound is not good.
Ruth? 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 She doesn't seem to hear. So maybe can you send her a message in the chat?
I just did.
Okay, thank you.
She may be having problems hearing us.
And there's this aspect of Zoom.
Challenges. It's strange that she's muted, but we still hear her. I just put her in a timeout.
Yeah, so, okay, let's let's open it up for Brandon. And then we'll let Ruth come in, whenever she's available.
Brandon bowing in. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not too big of a fan of Zoom. But that being said, when I do make it, it's been a good bedrock and like a cornerstone to my life, because Buddhism, I say a lot, is it's kind of been a grounding for me. I've always had some kind of structure, in my life, whether it be like religion or philosophy, and I'm kind of one of those people that has a lot of ups and downs, and Buddhism helps get that baseline up and ground me out and stuff. So yeah, I kind of agreed with a lot of what everyone said here. I would like, whenever we can go back to the temple and everything, I'm eager for that. But at the same time, I kind of think we should have some kind of collaboration of the two, for people who can't meet in person. Enjoy the Dharma talk, appreciate it. Other than that, I guess I'll say it's been an eventful last year or so. For those I haven't seen in a while, I'm expecting a baby girl in like 4 or 5 weeks. So I'm excited about that, and yeah, it's one of my main focuses right now, I guess. Yeah, bowing out. Thank you.
Congratulations on the new baby coming up. May they be blessed with all kinds of good karma. Ruth, are you back? Okay, go ahead.
I'm back, but I don't know if it's any better. Can you hear me? Ah,
Perhaps we spoke too soon.
And then she's gone again.
wonderful. Bye-bye.
Ruth? Ruth?
Uh-huh.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, we lost you as soon as we said you sounded wonderful. So
I'll just bow out. Thank you. But thank you. Yes, and I love the Sangha.
wonderful, good. Thank you. Anyone else that hasn't spoken would like to share? Okay, first Janet Crocker and then Jeff. Thank you.
So nice to see everyone today. I have enjoyed this Zoom method of seeing you all. And I know seeing you only like once or twice a year at National has given me a hint of who you are and what you're like. But this has really made my life bigger and nicer to see more frequently. And I enjoy all your sharings and who you are, and the technical problems make me laugh because it happens so much. And it's just been really nice to know that I have Sangha to look forward to. In the last year, I have been using my isolation, actually relieving that by coming to Sangha meetings. And it's really been wonderful. And I look forward to seeing you guys again next year. Please have a really nice, healthy summer. Thank you.
So Jeff bowing in. There's a chance I will have technical difficulty too. My computer died once and it just made a popping sound, so I'm not sure what's going on. I think I need a new battery. I would definitely second what Janet said. It's been wonderful to see the broader national Sangha. You know, when COVID first hit, before we had Zoom set up or before we had it set up well, it was, you know, extremely isolating. You know, it's working from home, basically stopped seeing everyone, including family. So having the Sangha, both the Connecticut one and the national one to set up, you know, recurring meetings was wonderful, and to, you know, the effort that was put in, and at the national level, everyone who pitched in so much, thank you so much. You know, Elena and Craig and you know, everyone else who helped, Fernando and everyone. Um, you know, and again, as Janet said, it's really you know, enriched my connection, I think, with people from across the country that in the past we would see for or I would see for the one retreat at Mariondale, you know, because that was, you know, somewhat local for us and costs were not high to get there. And it was just so wonderful to see everyone for that 2 days, and then so much time would pass, you know, a whole nother year before, you know, kind of significant contact again. So this has really um, you know, enriched my connection with the National Sangha, and I appreciate that. That said, I do look forward to in-person meetings. I think, you know, for all the wonderfulness that Zoom offers, sometimes, you know, the retreats where you would have a chance to just talk with someone individually at a table and kind of get to know them, and you know, kind of share elements of life or path in the Dharma is really valuable, and I think that is missing with Zoom. So I do look forward to the in person, both the, you know, our monthly meetings in Connecticut and our other get-togethers, our retreats with the National Sangha. I would really very much look forward to that. But Zoom, I think, has been a wonderful thing. I think we've been working out some of the technical glitches, although they still pop up. Um, but it has been great. I appreciate everyone in the Sangha who's really helped me through this difficult time. Jeff bowing out.
Is there anyone that hasn't shared that would like to do so now? Okay, David? Go ahead, David.
David Ballin. Yes, thank you all so much. It's been a little bit. The timing was I guess as good as could be for us, because we were able to go. You know, we were connected with DTO just in time to make the last December retreat that we were able to have in Virginia. And so being able to connect with you all in person was really wonderful. The support that, you know, we'd had along the way, we'd already been in touch, you know, digitally and by phone and everything before that, but then to be able to spend some time in person with you all was really wonderful. And of course, at that time, we didn't know that was going to be the last time we could meet together in person for a long time. So I felt really grateful to have made that person-to-person connection before the pandemic started, because I think it made it possible for us to continue. Made it much easier for us to continue after the pandemic. We've been working hard to sustain a brand new DTO program during a pandemic has had a lot of challenges to it. We had been meeting before, we'd started in September. What year was that? Just before our last meeting in Virginia, we had started up year one. So most of our program, the life of our program, has been during the pandemic, and we had to shift to meeting online, really quickly, and we have been able to sustain that. But I think one of the challenges for us, just these meetings for us, the challenge has been, of course, the meeting times begins at the same time that we have our weekly service at the temple, and we've tried to have consistency of that. So I really appreciate your all's patience with allowing us to join late, so we can still be here after we finish that up. So I thank you for that, and being patient with that need of ours. And then in terms of sustaining our DTO programming, when we first began, there was a lot of enthusiasm for being online. I don't know if anyone else experienced this, but it's like, yes, let's do it. And everyone was really excited about getting programming online and everything. And we would regularly have, we moved all our services online. So we have Saturday morning chanting and meditation, and then a Dharma class, and we have Wednesday evening chanting and meditation and a Dharma class. That a DTO is 2 of those Wednesdays a month, and then we have a socially engaged Buddhist Dharma class on the other 2 Wednesdays. And at first, everyone was really excited. We would have 12, 15 people at which was pretty good. We were regularly having, before the pandemic, about 25 people or so at our services, and so keeping that many people engaged was really great. But over the last years, John mentioned Zoom fatigue, and it's been hard for people to stay engaged, and we've ended up shifting to doing a lot of spiritual care work during the pandemic. A lot of anxiety and uncertainty, and how do we practice with the Buddhist teachings, which are obviously so relevant and helpful with those things. But sometimes I think it's felt difficult for people to read the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying, for example, even though it's so practical, but also they're dealing with all this right now, and it's some of those things that felt overwhelming to folks. And just, how do we find that balance between, part of the practice being actually practicing with those feelings in the moment, which feels a lot different to folks than studying a book. So, we've been juggling a lot of those things, and our group has shrunk a little bit. We're down to now about 7 or 8 folks who are there most of the time. But, I consider that a wonderful thing that we've survived it all throughout this pandemic. And I think that's a big takeaway for me. We didn't get to hear the Dharma talk. I don't know, maybe we'll catch it on the recording, but a big thing for me is the gratitude that we had the practice before the pandemic began, and the practice has been able to kind of ferry us through this really difficult time. And I have a great deal of gratitude also for Tai Chan here in Springfield. He's been incredibly supportive, and for you all as well, of just knowing that you all are out there, even if we only get to meet once a month or whatever. I think of you all often, and it's encouraging. So thank you all for that, and thank you for your continued support for our little program that began just in time to enter the pandemic. So appreciate you all. Thank you. David bowing out.
Thank you for that, David. It's true what you say. This groups of people. You know, we are at National. We started with like 72 of us that joined us, and you know, and it fluctuates. It dwindles. You know, sometimes we're very few, and like today, we're not a whole lot of people, but we are the people that were meant to be here today. So, however small your group is, I think it's wonderful that you continue to support it and to continue to encourage your students to study the Dharma with the Dharma Teacher Order program. It's a wonderful program. At least for me personally, you know, I will never be able to repay the tremendous benefit that I received from learning the Dharma with the Dharma Teacher Order. Fernando has been a wonderful guide and a wonderful teacher, and then all the other teachers, and then including my peers that came in with me and after me that taught me so much and continue to teach me every single minute. So thank you so very much for coming, even if it is, you know, later in the session. Your presence is really appreciated, and I'm sure I'm speaking for our DTO leadership. We encourage you to continue with the program, to continue to reach out to, you know, to continue to feel part of the DTO, because that's what you are. And thank you, Teitan. Thank you so very much for your support. Thank you for supporting the Dharma Teacher Order and you know, opening the doors so that we can have a presence there through you and David. So thank you very much. I know that we have a couple of people that haven't said anything. If you would like to jump in right now, you may. Okay, going once, going twice, gone. Okay, so you know, I just want to give a little bit of my personal experience with the Sangha, with the National. It's an experience of gratitude and awe at seeing everyone not becoming so overwhelmed by the conditions that you decided to go into a shell and, you know, ignore the world and ignore the Sangha. I think your dedication to the Dharma and your understanding of the need for a Sangha is what has driven this program. And I want to especially thank, of course, Greg for all his support. You know, he has been wonderful in keeping us informed and transmitting information and updating mailing lists and, you know, sharing quotes and sharing thoughts on the Dharma that are so beneficial to all of us. So thank you so much, Greg. I hope that we can continue our work next year. And I want to thank Fernando and thank all of you, because some of you may know and some of you may not, but 2020 was for me totally earth-shaking. As you again may know, I lost my mother in March, just as the day I was supposed to return to work was the day when the state closed down. So I have been away from my office since February about 27th. My mother passed on February 29th, actually. So, and then my sister passed too on July 1st. So it was a tremendously painful year. And tears and pain were like sort of my second name, my second nature. And if it hadn't been for your presence, my dedication to this, to continue to do this and to continue to delve in the Dharma and to learn from you, I think it would have been a much, much more terrible time. And whether you know it or not, I thank you so very much for your support, for your loving kindness, for your compassion. Because you helped me through a very, very terrible period with my family. Not to mention that I lost very close friends at the professional level, quite a number of them to COVID. So this was a time in which really impermanence was right on my skin. And I was drinking that water every minute of my life during this year. So thank you so very much. I'm very, very grateful for all your support and your help. Thank you. Now I'd like to give a couple of announcements before, unless somebody else wants to say something. I'd like to continue with the announcements and, oh, let's see, I don't know. Conrad, would you share the merits, please, before we do announcements?
Sure. Thank you. And blessings to you, Elena.
Thank you.
May the merits of this practice benefit all beings and bring peace.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much.